Question number 1D. The density of bacteria in a petri dish for R between 1 and 4 is modeled by the function g defined by g of r equals 2 minus 16 cosine 1.57 root r all cubed, and where r is the radius of that bacteria culture. For what values of k, where k is between 1 and 4, is g of k equal to the average value of g of r on that interval? So the first thing that we want to do is we need to find the average value. Okay, so the average value is given by this formula. It's going to be the area under the g function divided by the interval of that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph g. So I'm going to put that in my graphing calculator. I'm going to give a graph that looks something like this, and I'm going to integrate this function. And on the TI-84, we're going to use the function. Okay, so in this case here, I got the wrong thing here. We're going to use the function integral, and we're going to find the area underneath that curve. So I'm going to find that area using that function. So this area here, and using that function, we should get 29.627. Okay, so that's my area. So the average value of g of r is going to be equal to 1 over the interval width. So 4 minus 1 is 3. And that's going to be times the area underneath that curve, which works out to be 29.627. Okay, and calculating that value, we end up with, it looks like 9.876. So 9.876. Okay, so that is the average value, okay, and that is the density. Okay, so this is the density in centimeters. I think it's centimeters, or I'm not exactly sure what the units are, but maybe grams per centimeter squared. So that's my average value. And what's this question asking for is find the value k, where k is an x value, where the average value is equal to the g of r. So to find this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph the y value of 9.876, so y equals 9.876, and I'm going to intersect that with the original graph. So I have y1, y2. I'm going to intersect that. So on my function, my calc menu, I'm going to use the intersection function, and intersecting that, I get x equals 2.497. Okay, so that's going to be, I'm going to write that in. So 2.497. Okay, and that is going to be the radius at which we get the average value. Okay, so the k value, and since there is another intersection here, but that is outside the bounds of 1 to 4, so we're just going to keep the 2.97 as our solution. So k equals 2.497. Okay, and that's, it looks like that's probably in centimeters. So that represents the solution to part D.